Welcome everyone and welcome to All In, All United.
Remember the comment you made?
I thought from bars to these.
Run Ryan.
And here's the thing, you have players out there.
I think the fellas will take it more serious.
What grade?
That one had to go.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, right now, Manchester United are
Welcome fellas and welcome to All In, All United. All right, fellas, European nights, eh? I mean, it has been a season of very, very, very few positives, and it's not often we could come out and, talk about in a game now, where we thinking we should have won and it's an opportunity missed. Especially in close proximity because we were supposed to win against Fulham in regular time, right? If not extra time. Anyway, we're still unbeaten in Europe, and the performances have sort of kind of been better. And I don't know if I'll agree with that, right? I thought it was a solid away performance, by our low standards. But what really annoying is that we continue to make poor decisions in front of goal, fellas. We're not killing off teams. Sociedad didn't look like they were scoring until that penalty. Anyway, decent result, decent performance, and we will call a penalty annoyance. And we're here with everything hanging in the balance with the second leg to come. JP, Simeon, Phil, and Nico on the inside. Fellas, what we saying?
Good night. Will you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, yeah. As you say, I guess the unbeaten run continue in Europa for this season. We played with food today, and we definitely could have gotten punished in the end. Short hands, as Dream does normally say it, save us in the end. But still, that was routine, right? To me, that was routine. But let me see where the show take us for the night. Yeah.
Good night, everybody. A disappointing draw. We a lot of people were not really expecting much from the game. And I mean, I go into every game now with no expectations. But when you see the game play out how it did, it really is kind of, you feel sorry for Amorim. And then today I actually felt a little sorry for Hoyland at times. Because you saw, if it's a team that you're involved in and a man struggling, you want to see men do things to help him come out of it, and we didn't see that today. And that's all I will say on that for now, because I know there's something that we will definitely talk about more in the show tonight.
Simeon?
I mean, it can't be, you kind of sad we didn't win, but at the same time, this is, par for the course. This is what we do. When we play well, we tend to miss chances. I keep going back to, it reminds me of Ten Hag's last game. I look at this side we play today, and I don't really feel threatened, or normally you could see a team have a deep, not as good as the other team, but we didn't look too bad today. We didn't look like we were matched. I look at your team and I say, I don't really see anybody to really, trouble me per se, and for a good period of match, we looked good. So then you realize why we are where we are. You say the same thing that Ten Hag realized, the same thing Amorim. Even when you get the team to do almost everything right, you still have to put the ball in the back of the net, and we can't find a way In fact, we find ways not to. You know, we try not to score. So we could talk about the obvious missed passes and missed shots, but you can't you can't do anything in any competition without scoring, and we ain't doing that right now. So, but overall, we ain't lose, and we still got a chance next time. So we gonna take that.
Yeah, yeah. Phil, what were you saying?
Yeah, yeah. Good night, man. Good night. Good night. Good night. I thought today was going to be a turnover. I thought we were going to get Ben over today, but apparently we scored first and a weak decision of a handball given. Onana pulled off some very good saves today, as he should be doing as a goalkeeper. Um, he took some risk that had my heart palpitating a lot today as well. Um, but hey, that's what you gotta expect from some Man United players, right? I hope there's a segment tonight for Garnacho. I won't start now, but I hope there's some segment tonight, whether it be in the next 2 minutes or in the next 52 minutes. I don't care. Make I will sacrifice myself for a topic tonight. If you want to talk about starting 11, I will sacrifice myself for that. I will sacrifice myself for how did other players play. But if you have a segment for Garnacho tonight, I will be there, up front and center. Okay, good.
Yeah. What I could promise you is we're gonna have a segment for Dalu. All right. Promise you we have one for Dalu. Guys, don't forget to like and share the pod. We want to get more playing on the content. Aaron on the inside, good night, man. Thanks for joining. He's saying, who tell Dalu he's a footballer? Now, guys, I mean, I can get right into it, right? And I got a parallel image of you, right? And this is where you compare. This is when you compare. This is where you're comparing IQs, right? So the one on top is the Sociedad passenger play, where this guy, the attacker, you'd see in the middle here, he all a little more quality, and we would have lost this game today. But look at how much players, look at how much red jerseys were there, right? And he still played the ball, and the guy got a shot off on goal or toward the goal. The bottom one, right? I'll just move this comment. The bottom one is the Man United player, Diogo Dalot, right? With Rasmus Højlund and the defender, who we saw Rasmus have more pace than him. If you forward this player a couple seconds, Rasmus was in front of the player. All Dalot had to do was play it in space, and I promise you, Rasmus Højlund would have caught onto that ball. Now, whether he scored or not, we don't know. But he had to play that pass, right? So look at
who is the man he cut back to? That's how I just saying from the frame here. From the frame here. Who is the man he would have cut back to?
He's not even the petit yet. Look him in the corner.
They were saying. So were you watching? You had nothing to watch. You only thing you had to watch is the next man in red. You have nothing else to watch.
So Olia, my question is it something personal against Højlund, or is it just them fellas and them just dotish because Garnacho is doing the same thing? There are so many runs, Rasmus, and I remember JP making the statement that he feeling a little bit sorry for Rasmus. Now Højlund have his part to play in why he is at where he is, right? But at the same time, your players are wrong. You're supposed to help you. I remember in the past when we have a player, a striker, attacking player going through a goal drought, the team just try to help. I remember, I don't know if it's 2 seasons ago, when Ronaldo wasn't scoring, and we were playing some team in Europa League, and everybody
Everything,
passing
yeah.
the ball to
Yeah.
Ronaldo to
Yeah.
try to
Ronaldo
score.
just, yeah.
Even if that wasn't the right pass to pass, and men can score for themselves, they're still cutting the ball back to pass to Ronaldo.
Van
What's
Persie as
going
well too.
on?
When Van Persie was going through a goal drought, somebody got a penalty, and the first whoever got the ball, the first thing they do was give it to Van Persie. And as soon as Van Persie scored the penalty, he went and hug. He went and run and hug Sir Alex Ferguson. But that's a different conversation for a different time. So.
Yeah.
Go through, fellas, because I don't know if it's something that Dalot and Garnacho have. It has some beef going on in the camp against Hoyland, or is it that them fellas just completely lose faith in Hoyland? They have no confidence in that Hoyland. What is it, guys? Because we've seen countless times the player has been making runs and he not getting the ball. Garnacho, I can't remember who it was against. He get the ball on the left hand side, cut in, and all he had to do was square it across and Garnacho try a shot and it hit the side net. And that was in I don't know if it's the FA Cup or which game. I think it was against Leicester. And Hoyland they're jumping up, going ballistic because these guys are not playing the simple passes. What's going on, guys? Is it something personal? Is it some kind of beef? Is that IQ thing? What's going on?
You asking the wrong people tonight, Reem. I just said
I can't ask Dalot. I can't ask Garnacho. So we're trying to figure it out here.
You asking because these men IQ is that of a binary number. I think Dalot has gotten comfortable at Manchester United. He has started under Ten Hag in the last 2 seasons when it wasn't Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And he has gotten way too comfortable. And something needs to be done about that. And I asked this question a couple of times, but this question I asked at the very first time when Ruben Amorim was hired. Is he going to show bias towards Portuguese players? And people say give him time, give him time, give him time. You never know, you never know, you never know. The most minutes for somebody or some players at Manchester United is divided between Onana, Bruno Fernandes, and Diego Dalot. I can't think of any other player who has seen more minutes than these 3 players, right? But Dalot IQ is low. It's low. In terms of prioritizing a position this summer, right back has to be top 3. Has to be top 3. I don't care what nobody tell me. Because at the end of the day, we're not going to get anywhere with Diego Dalot at right back or Andre Onana in goal. Mark my words, they're not. The fact that we have to come on a podcast and say this guy played well today. You really think Liverpool fans, when they go on their podcast, say, yo, Alisson played well today, boy. Yo, Trent played well today. Yo, Andy Robertson played well today. Yo, Salah was good today. No, because they've accustomed to seeing this sort of stuff for the last 2-3 seasons, right? How as we as Man United fans, we come on a podcast every single night for the last 2 or 3 years now, and we have to pinpoint or pick out or look on one hand or 2 hands how much times that a certain player has played well. If we can see it, and you guys are in Trinidad, I am in Canada, and we can see it, why can't a manager who is 2 or 3 meters away, at most 100 meters away, can't say it either? Why? Low IQ. I don't care if it's beef. I don't care if me and you are on the same team. I don't care if we have beef. I would rather me shout at you than you shout at me. I can still pass you the football. If you do shit with it, I will definitely curse you. If you score it, I will celebrate with you. But I'd rather me do my job. And if you don't do your job, the manager gonna have a talk with you. I'm sorry. Let me switch sports. If we play in cricket and we are looking to catch a ball, and I see you running towards it, I can stop and then you catch it. And if you drop it, I can curse you. If you catch it, I can praise you. But then again, Dalot is the type of person, if he was playing cricket, he would see another player running for the ball to catch it, and he would run into the person. he would hear me, and I was no, me. That time, the person that look at that time, let me say it's Hoyland. And Hoyland say me. That look say me, no, not you, me. He gonna run into Hoyland. He's the type of idiot that would do that. Anyway, my rant over.
I mean, that's a good point. Like, I see with the cricket right there, but like, like certain things in sports are automatic. Like, you gotta think about it. That play, what the what's the guy who made the pass for Sociedad name? But that pass, he didn't have much time to think about that pass. He get the ball, and like he knew where the ball was going. Automatic. Like if you playing cricket, like Phil was talking about, a man bowler, try to pull a Yorkie, a Yorker, and it's short. And the batsman in your mind, the first thing you do is 2 steps, 6. If you're playing basketball, you do a pick and roll. A man roll to your side, automatic. You pass the ball. You gotta play like certain things in sports. You just automatic. From a young age.
Reflex. Is that reflex?
Do why? Yeah, you gotta think about it. I don't know why. Like it's so simple. The angle he had to have seen. Rasmus had to be there. He had more time than the fellow from Sociedad, and how he didn't make that pass. The pass was right there. All you had to do was get the ball in front. It's not rocket science. I'm sure all of us in watching TV, our leg just twitch, making that pass. Try to make the pass for him. And you wonder how. No, I mean,
the harder thing to do was to not pass it to make that pass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
JP, go ahead.
Yeah. I really feel about that over because that's not even a 9 times out of 10 passing. That's a 10 times out of 10 passing. As Simeon just said, that one is a reflex. If you're playing FIFA triangle, you hitting that triangle for that true ball across the front of the goal.
Triangle or double tap square.
Yeah, this was everybody who was watching that game, Sociedad fans and all, probably was done holding their head because they think what Tredalo get that ball, he go and spare that a nice. I think everybody would have thought that it have to be that Dalo IQ low. It turned out to be no big because as Simeon and Phil was saying, it have nothing to do with deep because they played for the team. And at the end of the day, no matter what going on the pitch, they'll try and score the goals. Dalo, in that position, he playing in the wing back position, and as one of our more attacking right backs when he was in the position for too long for that to not be instinct. And I want to hear something funny. Wan Bissaka making those passes now. I know say we should keep Wan Bissaka, but Wan Bissaka playing for West Ham, making those passes now. He doing more as an attacking threat than Dalo now. And we keep Dalo because he was supposed to be the one better. That he had a more versatile game. He was more complete in his game. And that's the reason we wanted to keep him. But now we see him and now we sell. He doing more of what we want to see Dalo doing. I seen Wan Bissaka squaring ball on the ground for men inside the box. And Dalo don't know how to do this. I watch the replay. And I see when Dalo look back. And I thinking, but what you looking back in that play for? Everything is forward. Everything. Nah. And I think it reached a point now where we don't have a choice because of injuries. We have nobody to replace him with at this point in time. So we have to persist with him. And then on the left-hand side, we have to persist with him for 2 more games in the Premier League, one against Arsenal. So we really between a rock and a hard place. I'm between a rock and a hard place. And when you think about it from Erasmus' perspective, this making him have even more issues with his teammates, people like Garnacho and Dallo. Because I was seeing other players trying to force it for him, and Bruno was trying to force it for him. Xerxes was trying to force it for him. Them fellas was trying to find Rasmus. They was trying to hit him the ball early and let him run on it. But Dallo and Garnacho, and we are Dallo now, so Dallo, you see Dallo, or I tell you now, there's somebody had to be whispering in Real Madrid here now. They had to be talking to them now, all now. They need a right back in a Trent good. Trent good, take Dallo. Please take Dallo.
You can sell it for cut price too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean I guess everybody beat it plenty. And my thing is really just do your job, boy. You know? Just do your job. You're in that position, your job is to pass for the striker. Just do your job. And as long as you do your job there, whatever happened with Rasmus, whatever he do, he had to answer for that. But at the end of the day, boss, I did my job. Right? And to me, that was the most disappointing thing. That's your job. That's the most basic side of your job. You know, he didn't do that. Yeah.
Boy, I know Google, I am so fed with that. Look, I know Google the man contract expiry. The man contract ends June 30th, 2028. Jesus Lord on a motorbike.
Nobody think about it, Phil. I don't worry about that, because I believe once we make the right signings and Quenda is a target, he's a right wing back. You know, it will simply mean that Amorim have options, right? And when the manager start to have options and those fellas settle, the more and more we'll see. Well, we'll see less and less of Dallo. And even if he start off the season as our favorite, yeah, and even if no, but what I'm saying is, even if he start off as a favorite, because I mean the Portuguese thing as you're talking about, Phil, I think with the constant this kind of thing that he keep doing, Ruben go drop them fellas on them because he have options. He not forced to have to play them, right? And that is my hope. You know, most times when a manager bring in a player, he has to justify that signing. So he not gonna bring in Quenda. Like just say Quenda is the player he's signing, and then had Dallo playing over him, especially when Dallo doing this kind of mad dotishness and Quenda showing, you know, some levels. So I think Dallo has shown a lot of him, and next see, I think Amorim had his fill with these fellas on them, and it's just a matter, you know, just biding time. That is how I see it.
Boy, you got more hope than me, boy. You better...
No, it had to be. You can't tell me you're going into next season and Dallo going to be
Dallo is a right wing
go-to.
back.
No.
Yeah, you're right wing back. That makes no sense.
As
Because
much,
he not even what you want right wing back supposed to be doing anyway.
as much as I would like, because I'm on your side, Reem. Don't get me wrong, but is he hope that's killed, boy?
Yeah.
Is he
But
hope that's killed, boy? Right now, hoping Dallo and Onana are not our starters for next season, you know. There's a hope that's killed, but Reem, you got FedEx some of that hope cross here, boy. I ain't got none in here with me, no, boy. Anyway.
Yeah,
but the thing is, when I watch the left hand side play, sorry, Reem, when I watch the left hand, how the left hand side working, right? And I guess we might talk about Dogo's performance later on, but still, when you look how the left hand side working, if you get our right side working, anything similar to that, you'll get real trouble. And that look at that kind of football.
Imagine we right side was two of the most brain dead players on the team. You know?
Yeah.
And them get all the chance in.
Yes.
That life unfair, boy. I'm gonna get some comments here, right? So Jesus Action on the inside. Good night to you, man. Thanks for joining.
Man.
He's saying, I don't know anymore. You know? Imagine they treat Rasmus like Nico partner, Van de Beek. Marlon on the inside. Good night, man. Thanks for joining. He's saying Dallo is a criminal. You know, if we do a comp of all the foolishness Dallo do since I'm already here, that could be about an hour long, you know. And it's just
Kareem,
clips
before Amorim
Yeah.
Before
That West Ham missed
Yeah,
that
that missed that
course
sink. Yeah,
Ten Haggy walk.
yeah.
Yeah.
God boy. Them fellas is not to be main players, boy. Them fellas they're not built to be a main. Anyway, guys, we're done with Dalo. Right? We're done with Dalo. Now, I mean, I want to get into the game because a lot happened in the game. And I want to get our thoughts on the game. And more so, did you all anticipate this kind of performance from Manchester United away to Sociedad? We know our record against Spanish teams. We have our Spanish teams is like a bogey team for us now. So did you anticipate this kind of performance? Did you and from after at full time today, knowing that they have to come back to Old Trafford, knowing what we give, do you expect us to go through to the next round?
I can sacrifice myself for this topic. You guys go.
And I'll go first. As JP said earlier, I have no expectation on this team, none. So when I sit down to watch football, I just comment to say, all right, well, let me see what gonna happen today, And after the first 10 minutes, I say, let's scrappy, but all right. And then we settle, and then we settle, and I think Zuxi had a real strong game, in his position. I think the defense, Euro, Mazwari as well, I think was excellent. I think it didn't have a threat. I didn't see any threat from Sociedad um, for the entire half. After the first half, we had some. I mean, we talk about the chance with Dalo. We talk about that. We talk about it had some chances with Ganacho, I guess, which we will talk about. I think we had some clear chances that we should have at least going in halftime 2-0 up. I think we was that good, to be honest. And I was looking at the Sociedad team and I was saying, these are the Spanish Sociedad team that they're talking about win 6 games on the trot, and I think we were all over them, and it was refreshing to see, and you felt no pressure in the game. While looking at the game, you was just comfortable, and you just say, well, let me see where the goal gonna come from. That way you're telling yourself in terms of from United. Let me see where the goal going to come from because I've seen it coming. Let me see where the goal coming from. And as you see it coming, and as it came, we just straight away. That's how easy the game was for us today. And of course, later in the second half, you saw where we tire. After the penalty, unfortunate penalty, but I think it was a penalty to be honest. Unfortunate penalty. But second, and again going into the second leg, I go into the second leg just as I went in to the first leg. No expectation. I what could happen in that game? So I could come and score early, and we fight up and come and 1-0 on the penalties. That is what I think that game could come down to. So yeah, but I think the favor the result or the outcome of this match is in our favor at the moment. But again, no expectation going into the second leg.
Before somebody else coming in, it gave me a kind of deja vu-ish kind of feeling. You remember that? I think it was last season or season before when we played Sevilla at home. And we dominated that whole game. Like when this guy with Sabitzer score 2 goals, I think.
Yeah.
And then they come late in the dregs and Maguire had our own goal and some other kind of dotage goal we consider. We draw that game and then we crumble in Seville. I don't know what it is about these Spanish teams, boy. We just play good in one of the legs and still don't win and then crumble. Anyway, go ahead.
As I said, I didn't go in with any expectation. But I was happy to see the way we were in charge of the football for the most part in the game. I was getting a little frustrated with the inability to keep the ball and take care of the ball. I think too many times, and Garnacho was doing it a lot where he was just running into traffic. Yeah. I know the funny thing is, I like to look at other fan reactions and after the game. And you see people praising Garnacho for those things. Like he's the only one that's take the ball and run at somebody, but he doing that and he losing the ball a lot when he do it because he just running straight into crowds. But yeah, so we as Nico say, we should have been at least 2 up before the half. And at the 70th minute or so, you saw the fatigue, and assuming that would come from the fact that we played 120 minutes just a few days ago in the FA Cup game. So that fatigue was expected, and that is why it's important to take your chances early on when you have the energy, when you have the legs to be able to kind of slow down the game and have more control. You can just play more possession-based football, but I know we're not capable of doing that. So yeah, for me, I think the second leg again, same thing. I have no expectation because this Manchester United team could just capitulate on the day, and Sociedad might get back Zubimendi in that game. You don't know if he could raise their level because their level was really low today, if we're being very honest. It wasn't a proper Sociedad team that we faced today. They allowed us to play a lot of football. They were very wasteful with their passing as well. So a lot of it, no pressure at all. And they were just like kicking the ball out sometimes. And so it wasn't the best team that we faced today. So if they do come to Old Trafford raising their levels, which we probably know they can do, then I mean we had to be prepared to raise our levels as
well. Simeon?
I mean, I got home. I was a dentist, today, and my dentist is a big United fan too. So he gave me a score. We talk about the game while look at my teeth and the same thing. I mean, same thing he says. Like we can't score. Our strikers can't finish. But I got home. I watched the rest of the game and I went back and I watched the highlights. I mean, you can't waste chances in this cup, that kind of competition, because when a team is down, when a team play like that, you have to punish them. Simple. You have to punish them. Can't be 1 goal, can't be 2 goals. It need to be 3 goals and done. You score a goal, and the goal wasn't. I mean, the finish wasn't that great, but you have to know. I mean, it's gonna come back, and as bad as they look, they're not a bad team. Because you saw some flashes where they moved the ball real quick, and you had to really watch how fast the ball was moving in the second half. When they made those subs and the ball started moving, you had to kind of look back and say, "Hey, wait now, this is the same team. This could be because the one-touch passing that Spanish football is famous for was looking real nice, and it's like next week they might be as down as they was today. I mean, next week, what's next leg? Next week?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, I mean, this team is a dangerous team that we gave confidence to. I mean, them fans were jumping up, doing the we call it the stand. Yeah,
Poznan dance. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Why? What they do special that deserve that?
Yeah.
But these little things, man, it's like you have to punish these teams when they're down, and we didn't do that today. So you never know what's going to happen. I was thinking, are we going to get anybody back next week? And it's more likely we will lose someone next week. I mean, the way things go is, so we have to take our chances when we have them. We didn't, So it's going to be tough next week. I expect nothing. I hope for the best.
Any word on Mano? Was he? No updates on Mano. Was the injury timelines?
Yeah. Who next to come back?
Well, Ugarte and Maguire should be back for Arsenal. That's basically it. And Collier was back today. What I noticed today, and I don't know if it was intentional, but I get the impression that Sociedad knew that we would have tired after a certain time. That's why they brought on the more pacey wingers later in the game.
Yeah.
You understand? Because you were seeing that the fellow who was playing on the right hand side, I can't remember his name. Becker, correct.
Yeah.
He was getting a lot of space and he was seeing a lot of time, and he was getting some joy going down that side. You know, the forward, I think he's at Dano or wherever.
Yeah.
You know, his movement in the box, they were quicker. You understand? And they were forcing our line back. So that was something very, very tactical and calculated by Sociedad, and that's something that we had to be wary of. You know, even in the second leg, because I mean,
you put Maguire back there.
And Maguire with his slow self, and they know that we have these fellas have a lot of load on the legs. They know they have a lot of games in the legs, a lot of minutes. So after a certain time, this team is tired. So that's why I agree with the point Ollie making that we had to pour weak chances, or else we could be able to pay for it. You understand what I'm saying? And after that Leicester game, right? Not Leicester, Fulham game, I don't have no confidence in no penalty shootout. So let me don't go through that. Right? Let me don't go through that. Now, on the game itself, we cannot hold on to that football. You understand? But it still have moments where we showing we could hold on to the ball. So I don't know why we just do it less and not more. Right? And then not only that too, you have Garnacho, you have Hoyland that you want to use to stretch the field. Why we're not playing into them with some more accuracy? You understand? Much times balls went through or went over, and it's either the fellas had a touch, the fellas had to try to run and bring it back in, or it's off and again ease off the ball with no pressure. And sometimes I just really wonder. Yes, for the most part, we were more direct, we were more physical. You know, we created some really good chances that we were supposed to score, but I still, you know, wonder why we don't try to play a little more football. We have Xerxes, the man confidence high, the man in form. Let me try to play through Xerxes a little more. You understand? Because he finding the spaces, he holding off the ball well, and he making right passes. He helping us retain possession, and we just keep trying these long balls. They're killing Dorgo. Yeah, the amount of times, the amount of distance, Dorgo, the amount of ball.
Yeah, boy. Woo, boy.
Yeah.
So that is my thing. I think we could do a lot better than, because sometimes when the transition football not working, we just look out of sorts, and we start to just give away the ball and we just give it away. Right? And for a team where Garnacho and Hoyland supposed to be quicker and stronger, they didn't give the Sociedad defenders as much problems as I thought they should have. You know? Dembe, Elliot Brent on the inside. Good night, man. Thanks for joining. Blessings to you, man.
Good night.
So yeah. So Phil, Garnacho. Let me talk about some performances. Right? Let me talk about some
performances. Spoil everything. I hear watching some Xerxes highlights and I am here smiling. As soon as you mentioned the Garnacho, boy, I gotta put my phone down. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I have a couple of players that we want to just look at the performances, right?
I would definitely like to touch on Xerxes because there's something about Xerxes in the last month or so that has had me very impressed. But let me get back to the reality of things with this guy, Alejandro Garnacho, who has the ego of Cristiano Ronaldo, but the IQ of
Bebe.
Aaron Lennon mixed with Bebe mixed with Jemba. That sort of combination, right?
Yeah, I find Aaron Lennon was better, man. I find Aaron Lennon. I mean, I find Aaron.
You think so?
Yeah, man. Don't do
Aaron Lennon.
Man. Yeah.
Yes, don't do that on that.
I mean, Aaron Lennon used to skin out Patrice Evra every now and then, but Aaron Lennon wasn't the big up player.
Nah, but he was never as bad as Garnacho is with decision making.
Well, let me use another.
Say Bebe.
Bebe was fine.
Yeah.
Obatan. What about Obatan?
Obatan.
Gosh, boy. Ooh, boy.
Obati. Try it out.
Or even Bolasi if you want.
All right, let me use.
Bolasi was a good player.
No end product.
Bebe is.
Hey, he scored a chicken in the Premier League, I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Bebe is a good comparison because
Hmm.
at one ceiling and at the floor you got two Portuguese players, right?
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, we all know that football is not played with your feet; it's played with up here, right? And if there's nothing up here, you can't play with your feet, right? I think there comes a time where you just have to say, thanks, and I wish you all the best. And that message goes to Alejandro Garnacho and Dalo too, but we touched on Dalo already, right? I wish you all the best, Alejandro Garnacho, in the summer. If he's not so, then he cannot be starting for us. Okay, but let's be positive. Let's say he's sold, right? That will be that will be one step forward for Manchester United. And it doesn't start with today's game. It starts with a culmination of games under Ten Hag and under Ruben Amorim as well too, right? How many times has this guy hit side net? How many times? Because at the end of the day, if I give you the football and you're clear on goal, at least test the damn keeper. At least, right? Which game was it that we played through Garnacho and he missed and it
That
hit
was
Rosemary
Fulham.
then?
That's
It was
Fulham.
Fulham. There's the
Last
same.
game.
There's the FA Cup.
Yeah. Clean through. And roll it back to Leno.
I remember when it was Ream. It was 2 days ago. I sent you a culmination of Garnacho's highlights versus Fulham. But that was so depressing to watch, boy. Yeah. Ego Cristiano Ronaldo, but you play like baby. Garnacho, I think you need to be sent on loan, you need to be sold, or you need to hold some bench. One of those three. You can't. You're not fit to play for Manchester United. I'm sorry, you're not. We gave Anthony stick, and rightfully so, he deserved it, right? I don't want to go through this whole just because Garnacho did Garnacho technically come through our youth academy? Because I know he was bought from Atletico Madrid, right?
Yeah. We play a season. We play a season in the under 21.
So
Yeah.
he's homegrown then.
Yeah, he considered homegrown because if we sell him, it's 100% profit.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think that's a route we have to go this summer, right? And this is not me overreacting. Overreacting is just seeing one game and saying, "Yo, this guy is shit. We need to sell him," right? No. This is a culmination, like I mentioned, like 2 or 3 minutes ago. This is a culmination of game after game after game after game, right? I remember at the start of the season, Garnacho was playing well coming off of the bench. Did it versus Manchester City in the cup, even though we lost on penalties. But then he also did it in a couple of games afterwards, scoring or either assisting, right? I'm not. It kind of irked me that the camera went on Garnacho for the assist instead of staying on Xerxes. It so irked me because it's almost like the cameraman or the commentators know that this guy has been getting a stick for the last couple of months, and he did something right, and all of a sudden the camera has pointed at him, not staying on Xerxes, who scored the goal, by the way, right? Who was playing exceptional tonight, right? At the end of the day, look, we can only play we can only play who we have available, and unfortunately, Garnacho is one of those people, right? Ahmad injured, Kobe out. If these two were still were fully fit, Garnacho would not be seeing this starting 11. I'm sorry, right? I think we've given Garnacho a bit too much time, too much, and I think I always go back to this here before I come to the end of this here. I always go back to this because I think that Everton goal just made his head so swole.
Imagine if you scored the winner against Arsenal over the weekend.
He might celebrate. He might walk.
As much as you might be grateful for the win, that's going to Garnacho head. You know, I tell you, that time bomber. That should be a ticking time bomber.
So
nobody in Carrington could talk to you after that.
I can be honest with you guys as well before I hand over to you guys. I cannot remember the last time I celebrated a United goal. I cannot. I'll be surprised with so I can remember obviously the FA Cup final versus Man City, but I don't want to say it's that far back, right? I honestly cannot remember the last time I have celebrated. I've gotten out of my seat and like celebrated a United goal. Whenever United have scored a goal this season, I just sit on my seat and be like, okay, cool.
I thought the one against when Bruno scored against Arsenal was nice.
But I didn't celebrate that.
Yeah.
I didn't celebrate that, Nico. Nico, the players of this team have drained me, Nico. They have drained me. Imagine you just play shit for minute 1 to minute 79 and we score. How am I supposed to find the energy to celebrate, Nico? I can't.
Agreed.
I spend more time shouting at my TV, and I know these idiots cannot hear me, and I'm still shouting. I'm still shouting. Because you're just giving away the football, you're doing the simple thing, you're making the simple things look hard, you're hitting side net, you're giving away the football. I remember the commentator said today when Garnacho had the football and it was taken away from him, oh, like it's either he isn't aware of who's around him or he's not strong enough.
These commentators, I realize a lot of them have their biases, and it is hit clearly through the commentary. Yeah? You know, some players, when they do wrong things, they just be more critical than others. They make excuses for others. But let me just go back to the whole Garnacho thing, and I think, and it's something that, you know, we talk a lot about on the pod here in terms of how we swell these players' heads, you know, to the point where they think they have more power than the manager, you know, and that's why Garnacho used to go about liking posts, you know, when Ten Hag was here, you know, and he tried, and I hear his name jumping up to it with leaks and thing too, but you realize leaks are happening again that much, right? Yeah, and you know, after he gets sub off from that's the game before the City game when he and Rashford get dropped, right? When Garnacho gets sub off, he's sitting down there and he was upset, visibly upset on the stairs, and these kind of tantrums these players throwing because of what we've allowed in the past. So Garnacho coming into this team thinking that we need him, right? And Amrim had to show that with is either you're on board and you're playing it my way or we will not use you. So much so that your name was jumping up to be sold in January, right? So Garnacho realizing, and that's just how I kind of, you know, interpreting what I'm seeing. Garnacho realized he's probably one of the only direct attackers we have. So we need him, you know, and he operating with that kind of complex that he so want to follow in Ronaldo's footsteps that he had to be annoyed when things don't go his way. He had to be petulant. He had to, you know, be selfish, because those are the things that, you know, young Ronaldo would have done, and now look where he at. But Garnacho had to realize the talent level between him and Ronaldo is chalk and cheese. He is not the same player. So what you had to do is you had to eat humble pie and sit down and take where you get and stop playing as though you are this entitled person. Look at the amount of chances today. Look at the amount of chances this man had today, and none could have hit the back of the net on your right foot. So all you know to do is curl. You can't hit a right-footed shot from the right-hand side of the pitch and hit it on target to force the goalkeeper to save. Everything had to be hitting the side netting. Here now. Bye. Anybody, let me just get some comments before we move on, right? So Dixon Bang on the inside, good night to you. Thanks for joining. She's saying here, didn't see the majority of the match, so I cannot comment. Just glad we're still in with a chance at Old Trafford. Yeah, I mean, we were supposed to win that game today, Dixon. All right. Jerome Foster on the inside, thanks for joining, man. He's saying Dalot need to get brace in the locker room. For real, Garnacho greedy as usual. He feel he is CR7. Xerxes doing well. All right. Jerome also saying here all the UK pundits are given agendas and they stick to it. Yeah, it annoying, it's sickening. I remember when we were playing as Rangers, with his name Ali McCoy. Oh, Hoyland this, Hoyland that. He'd a prefer Hoyland. over Xerxes,
Gosh,
and Xerxes is nothing, and you
yeah,
don't know. Anyway, go through, fellas.
yeah.
No, I mean,
People
no,
have to remember. Go ahead, Simeon. Go ahead.
no, he's second natural and like you talk about from the left to the right, like Greenwood always comes to mind because Greenwood had kind of green streak, but one thing about Greenwood was always on target,
Always.
always either keep us save it, or it's always on target. I mean, look at Garnacho. That this man, we from the beginning, we know he wasn't. He's a young player. I mean, I'll give him that. He's a young player. He just doesn't know. Isn't this is attitude is why we had to. His attitude and his selfishness is why we on him. Really. That kind of stuff in football, a team sport where he doing good. Your assists are leading to goals, Canacho. Pass more. Make a dribble here to make the assist. The team will do better. You have how many assists in the last few games? Look up. Find Rasmus, find Xerxes. But I mean, that ain't his. You know, why is it when you get subbed off, you could be vexed, but why it had to be? You always got to do something to get the attention of the cameras. So why always have to be you grabbing at, you know the cameras on you. You ain't. It's in your first year and the first team. And I
That's the
mean,
Ronaldo complex. That's the
Yeah.
Ronaldo complex.
yeah, and it's just sad. For me, it's sad that we had to, deal with this. I mean, when you think about it, we have Sancho who was on the roster to begin with. We had Rashford. We had Anthony. Like all I could say is, I'm gonna talk about Garnacho because I tried to talk about Garnacho, but we have to get about three attackers for them three plus one. Here them names: Garnacho, Sancho, Rashford. I mean, we had to retool this team, because them fellas they ain't doing anything for us this year.
Yeah. JP?
Yeah. What I was going to say is, Garnacho has played over 100 games for Manchester United already, and we had to stop this thing where we want to talk about his age. He young. Yeah, he young. Yeah, he have plenty to learn. But is he showing us that he is learning? Are we seeing him progressing? Are we seeing improvement in his decision making after over 100 games for Manchester United? I want to see people get over sentiment and start to look at things from a logical point of view. And a lot of the noise you hear around Garnacho is sentiment. He's an academy player. Oh, we will sell one of our brightest prospects. Blah, 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 blah. If we get 60 million for a player who, after over 100 games, still don't know when is the right time to pass and when is the right time to shoot, we have to take that. 60 million of pure profit, we have to take that. Even if Garnacho goes somewhere and then he settle down and start to learn and actually play good football, I don't care. Because 60 million of pure profit is what we will be getting
Hmm.
from a player who wasn't learning, from a player who not improving. And I think that's what we need to see. Because at least 4 occasions in the first half today, Garnacho chose to shoot without even thinking about a pass. You could see his first instinct is what I could do for me. Garnacho is not playing for Manchester United. I think people need to realize that. Garnacho is playing for Garnacho. He is not
Mm.
playing for Manchester United. Because when your first instinct is to shoot every time, you had decided how much times today. The one time Garnacho decided to pass the ball in the box. Xerxes score. The one time I cannot think of any other pass in the game and Garnacho made when he got the ball in the box, every time was an instant shot. Every time. There were at least 3 or 4 occasions where he could have squared the ball. He could have turned on the man and keep the ball alive. Do something else. But every time he tried to shoot. No matter where he was, he tried to shoot. I have a problem with that. And I will be very happy if he could be sold in the summer and we have that pure profit to work with to go against bringing in players who are of the quality that we need in this team. Not because a man could run.
Not as equality, but the mentality as well.
The mentality, yeah.
They ain't gotta be. They ain't gotta be of the quality, JP. They just gotta learn and adapt. I will allow mistakes as a youngster, but then if you are willing to listen to the coaching staff, and I see you looking to improve your game, you went from hit to the side net, and let's say in the first, let's say we sign a new right winger, and he went from hitting the side net in the first 3 or 4 games to then testing the keeper in the next 3-4 games, and then maybe let's say hitting the crossbar. He getting closer. That's a player I can work with.
Yeah.
But Garnacho's not learning. He's not learning. He's just doing his own thing, as JP said. Garnacho FC first, Manchester United second, bruv.
Exactly. And then the attitude when he gets subbed off, you upset. What are you upset for?
But I see that was coming. I see that sub was coming because you wasn't running back when I was in the front. You're just jogging, watching, man. And the good thing is, Amarin didn't stick to pull him off.
No.
Yeah. Let me move on. Nico, I want to get your thoughts on Dorgu's performance today. You'll just do one person. It's just Dorgu and Casemiro.
Okay. I expected more from him today, knowing especially that he didn't play over the weekend. You know, he had a bit of time to train. Of course, his physicality, you know, I mean, I think very good. I think in terms of industry, I talk about physicality, I talk about getting up and down the pitch relentlessly, getting into the energy to get back in the correct defensive positions as well. I think the effort to do that was very good. The only complaint for me for Dorgu today was his ability to play quality passes today on the ball. I think crossing, even simple passes today, I think he got wrong. But definitely is not something I will hold against him. You know, maybe second game for United really, or third game, away, place wet, slippery, maybe wanting to make up, maybe for even having the red card. Okay, guys, I thought it down with the red card, so here I want to make back up, you know, and maybe overcompensating in today's performances on the ball. But I think otherwise, I think if we take that out of the game, I think he was again a shining example, you know, of the effort and the mentality that we need at United. And outside of the, you know, the wastefulness on the ball, I was still very much impressed. And all I'm hoping for is that what we just see is players come at United at this level, and then all of a sudden the drop. You know, I want to see him, as everybody else saying, even as we asked him for with Garnacho. So, all right, when you came in here, now we want to see you that next level, and then we want to see that next level. You know, and I think he has some in the bank so far. For me, you know, to show that you know, I mean, he'll get a pass on the ball today, but definitely I expecting better next week Thursday. You know, I expecting to see him improve on the ball next week Thursday, and he could definitely be a threat. And I could even see him scoring because he does get some real good positions that I think, you know, I mean, just a bit more composure, and as I'm really even saying, a bit of luck, he could be on the score sheet next week.
And I thought it had the flick that Zirkzee flick for him in the box. He have a good shot. I thought he was going to shoot there, but he crossed it across the face of the goal, and then Garnacho gets and hit the side net. And You know, he could for me he could have go for goal, but I mean I understand that you probably want him to pass first. And the next thing that you said that I agree with, I could have see that he was in his head with the whole tackling because he was holding back a lot. You know, I don't know if that red card was still kind of in his mind from the last game, and I don't know if he didn't want to risk and let the team down again. So I saw him, you know, in his head a little bit with that. In the final third, in some clutch moments, I really wanted more from him, and he let me down a little bit. But again, a young player coming into the team, you know, you step up from Lecce to United with the expectation and the demands, it different. So we have to be very, very mindful of what we expecting from Dorgu. You know, he's not gonna come in and be a world beater. I will always remember Patrice Evran Vidic first half season because they came in the January window as well. Evra say he was thinking about leaving in the summer. You understand? So it's about patience and really about the team around him functioning to help him, you know? So yeah, so I really hope, I mean, the little break in the continuity doesn't help as well as seeing that he wouldn't be around for Arsenal, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Jerome saying here 60 million for him, I would take it. Let him explode elsewhere with that attitude and let us buy a right wing back and striker with that. I was looking at the same thing, JP, from Rio with the guy who just talked about the FFP. And he was saying that with the whole amortized kind of arrangement, 60 million, we could get about 5 players for that on 5-year contracts. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because we're recognizing 60 million as profit, so we could buy 5 players with that, you know. Exactly. So that money will do us a lot more than him staying, you know. How to pronounce this name, bro? I don't want to butcher your name, right? So thanks for joining, man. He's saying sell every damn one of them every year. Fans blaming every manager without getting rid of shit in the squad, right? Jerome saying here sell Garnacho, buy Quenda, buy a striker and bench Dalu. Yeah. Casemiro, right? JP, talk to me about Casemiro.
I think he was solid today, no? I think Casemiro put in a good performance. I just didn't like when he was going to ground a little too easily, and like a pensionary man was taking 2 days to get up when he go down. But other than that, I think he had some composure in the midfield. His passing out was a lot better. He didn't get beaten, and I don't think the midfield really wasn't overrun. So I didn't see him looking like he was struggling. The pace of the game suited him, so he was able to keep up with it. And overall, I think it was a solid performance from him. Something a simple, calm game from him. Nothing too spectacular, but at the same time, solid. A solid 6 or 7, I would say he was out of 10 today with what he did. Clean passing, calm with the ball, made some decent interceptions and thing as well too. So yeah, not much to say about the performance, and it was a solid one.
I don't know if anybody had. Yeah, I don't know if anybody had conflicting thoughts on Abguchunico.
No, it had times. If you look at the game in a whole, right? I think I would agree with JP. On a whole, if you look at Casemiro's performance on a whole, I could agree with a 6. At times in the first half when he was giving away the ball, you know, so he shot a ball over the top for me, and I was like, shit, it's nobody, you know. Yeah. But overall, I think that's solid 6. I think the pace of the game suited him. To me, at times it looked like a pension and he middle of the field, but still, but still, I think the game suited him more than not. You know, so I could agree with that 6.
Yeah. I just needed to get the pension and the midfield comment now. Last but not least, Sidian Xerxes.
I mean, when we first got Xerxes, I said, this man is a disciple of Ronaldinho. He might like Ronaldinho, you know. And then I had to take it back because the man was playing so much crap, you know. But that you seeing the confidence, you seeing the frame, the understanding of how to move the ball, using your whole body to shield it, where flicking the ball in the right spaces, control. I mean, and the vision. The vision is something that's coming in right now, and you see it, knowing where people are, how they're moving. So you see everything come together. He still needs to work on his finishing and his final ball is getting there, but you're seeing the potential. I say, but he could be really good. I mean, the bar is real high for him. But the issue, as you can see, is with his team. We have too many players like him, not really like him, but like who have ability, potential, but they're not there yet. So it's about him growing and not falling back, not losing his drive, his because you have Canacho there. You see at the end of the game, you say, we could get better, we could, do better. We just gotta not waste our chances. You know. So when you start getting somewhere and you get to a level and you see people next to you doing nonsense, it affects. Sometimes it'll affect how you play and the choices you make on the field. But I think Xerxes, he could be, the reason why he's on the field at the 10th spot when he could be subbing in for Rasmus, back and forth. I think Amram really values what he does in the field. I mean, right now, no one could, attacking wise, control the ball and move the ball and make a turn. You know,
That
So
sensible pass.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Simple as that.
yeah,
I think just like Ahmad at the start of the season, benefiting from Garnacho not being there for preseason, I think Xerxes has benefited significantly from the injuries, right? Because if you look at how Amrim was using him, he had from early he said he didn't see Xerxes as a center forward. He didn't fit the profile, and Hoyland was stinking on the joint game after game, but yet Hoyland was still starting. You'll see Hoyland get 3 starts, Xerxes will come on, do better, but then Xerxes will get 1 start, and then Hoyland will go back in the starting lineup and keep playing and stinking on the joint, you know. But the injuries, as unfortunate as it is, it seemed as a blessing in disguise for Xerxes, because as much as God, but I want Ahmad to be wrong, I want Kobe to be wrong, but they had to drop out for us to realize the kind of player that we've seen in Xerxes right now, and I think this little moment now would have given Amorim certain things that he didn't know existed before in the player, or probably he may have ignored, right, in the player, because we've seen how dependent he's become on Xerxes. We've seen how much Xerxes has been repaying the fate of the manager, because when you look at all the games since when Xerxes has been most consistent in terms of improving, and making a significant say in games. Whether it's just holding up the ball, whether it's making key passes, whether it's defending, winning the ball back, making critical forward passes. I can't say scoring because the team not scoring, but in terms of ball retention, so if it's one person that benefit from the unfortunate injuries to Ahmad and Nino, it's just Rositz, and he taking that with both hands.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Go ahead.
one player made a cameo today, Collier. I know. I mean, there's little things you see from a player like that dummy he do on the sideline. There's little things you do, and the way you hold the ball up, and the ability to put yourself between the ball and the man. Like little things this man doing. that you did not see from our more senior midfielders. And like I think once he get healthier, he get more, more time. I think you'll see him. We should see him more because the man can play. The man and the wing looking decent. Or he's a midfield player. So I think hopefully we see more of Collier in the next few games.
Yeah, yeah.
I must say that Xerxes is one of the few players that actually makes me get out of my seat to watch Manchester United play. Honestly, Xerxes, like shout out to him because he's played a full 90, and then a 120, and then another 90. He's played.
Yeah.
He has a lot of minutes under his belt today, and even though he's tired, and you can see he's tired around the 80th minute or so, he's still saying, you know what, there's something left in the tank that I just gotta give some more, right?
A team player, definitely a team player.
Correct. One thing that also slightly surprised me about Xerxes is that Xerxes can pass with both feet.
Yeah.
So I mean, the ability to pass with both feet and not give away the football is something I love to see in football players. The ability to pass with both feet, like, oh gosh, who else comes to mind with passing with both feet? Pirlo, Kagawa, Santi Garzola, and that's just names, right? But in terms of just be able to pass,
And all of them is technicians, eh?
oh, that's different conversation. But yeah, you are right, Reem. But yeah, the ability to pass with both feet definitely going to be quite interesting because I think Xerxes is a player that Amorim could work with, right? But in my opinion, Xerxes is definitely a second striker, right? I know second striker was a term back in the day, right? But I think Xerxes is definitely a second striker, and the vision is coming along. Like Xerxes makes football look so simple, right? And by that I mean he does this. He does the basics, right? He knows when to be flashy and he knows when to do the basics, right?
Yeah.
I see Xerxes just winning the ball off of players and just giving it to a red player and just running. And that, you want that in a football player.
Yeah.
They got what Hoyland would do. Hoyland will win the ball off a football player and try to shield it from the same football player that he win the ball off of. And when he trying to shield the football from the same player he went off of, other opposition players are gonna rush him and give away the football. So waste. You were just counterproductive, right? But I see Xerxes trap back for the football, winning it from players, giving it to Bruno or Casemiro or whoever, and just doing his thing. And that's what you need in football. Just the basics, right?
Yeah, simplicity, boy.
Yeah, simple football just win your games, you know. I don't want to go back to the dialogue because we ended on a good note, man. But Xerxes, keep it up, man. I am looking forward to seeing what you can bring to this team for the next couple of months.
I would just relate to see him play with a little more high IQ players now, you know, having the likes of Aminu or Amara around him, you know. Yeah. Jerome saying here in a year or two, Xerxes could be a real boon for us. Okay. Gets a bit fitter, stronger, and confident, and he will be a great option. No doubt, agree. So I think this is the last talking point here. At the beginning of the or some time during the pod, Nico, you mentioned that the penalty was a good call, right? And
it's subjective, right? But I could understand why.
Wherever, right? Because hear what I say. No. Hear what I say, right? It's almost as though VAR went looking for something. It was not something that was so obvious that everybody started to appeal. Right, that play was going on. Nobody protests. The football's going on, and VAR went and started studying because it's Reeboks. Something had to happen there that they could do. No, right, and it's not the first time. And for some reason or the other, you know, we just always be the ones who, you know, this gets screwed over by VAR, right? And again, 2022. Kubo, the ball hit off Martinez's foot onto his he arm, and they give a penalty, right? 2025. Look at the proximity between
No,
that's
but
still
what's
shot.
where Bruno hand is?
No, but
Dream.
Nico, hear me.
In context.
But
Take
still,
away the still, no, take
can't
away
put your
the
hand.
still. No, Nico, take away
Long
the
to your body,
still
long to your hand away from your body like that, and the ball hit your hand, they'll call it dream. And
proximity because
if they don't call
what
it, take it away. No, where his hand is away from his body.
But
You see how that hand quite
still,
up there and that ball hits in your hand? The problem is
Nico,
even if it's subjective, if the referee call it, you have no recourse there.
I understand. You put that in a still motion as it is there, it would look like a penalty. But watch it over in real time. And this is the problem I have in these marginal things.
If you're attacking the ball, watch where Bruno's head is in comparison to the ball.
Nico,
you understand what I'm saying?
I hear you, but
you can't go up there. You have to go up ahead.
Okay, so let me ask you something.
If your head is close to the ball is one thing, but watch where the ball is from your head.
Let me ask you something. What is when somebody jumping? What is a natural position? Because you need your hand to get your leverage. So what is a natural position when somebody jumping for head? I need to understand these things.
It's unfortunate, but if it hits your hand in that position, the referee call it. Hard luck.
Nobody.
That penalty.
My thing, the ref didn't call it initially. So was it a clear and obvious error for VAR to overturn the referee not making the call?
Well, I guess that was VAR there for. To give the referee decision to make.
No, but VAR there to overturn the call if there's a clear and obvious error from the referee.
Well, there's a clear and obvious error.
I don't find so, because if initially the ref see Bruno jump and thinking, well, I think it's natural when players jump in to put their hands up like that, and he didn't see a reason to make a call. None of the Sociedad players would have protested and even asked the referee to check it in for VAR. So then, as Reem saying it obviously had to come across as feeling like if VAR up there looking for something. That's how you feel, because it wasn't like Bruno had his hand up, so it's a normal jumping position. He jump in, the man can't jump like shadow for the ball.
But in today's football, there's a high possibility they can call it as a penalty.
No, but what I'm saying too, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying too is when you look at when you have it as a still shot like that, you can't argue handball. Yeah. But when I watch over the video, Bruno hand was close to the man's face. You understand what I'm saying? So anyhow you take it, the proximity should take some. If the man is headed the ball out, it might have hit Bruno's hand because so I don't even know how to explain it.
It's difficult, but again, some referees would call it, and some referees might say, it's no penalty.
I find we always gain a raw deal, because even versus PSG yesterday, Konate having the ball in the box and nothing, right? But it's Man United.
When he pushed on this fella, and should have been a red card and a penalty.
Yeah, nothing. But let us Man U, VAR was getting a phone call from head office to stop the game and go back and check that, right?
Red card,
This Liverpool season, you can't get that call.
You understand? But let was Dorgu. It was Dorgu.
They call it the Soca Mafia in Trinidad, boy. Hey.
Jerome said here Bruno was a bit lazy, jumped too late to compete, and then that happened, unfortunate. All right. He also said, jumped too late. If he had jumped on time, his hand would have been down. I don't know. Anyway, guys. So again, we VAR. Do we want, whether it was correct or not, they make sure and find the error, right? They make sure and find it to make sure that we had to pay, right? And
we don't have to pay. We definitely had to pay. We had to pay for our foolishness in front of goal, right? That's what we had to pay for, right? Because we had clear chances and we could have been 3 up before even that penalty.
Yeah,
Right?
that's also a point. That's also a
So
valid
we
point.
had to take our chance because we know that the referees out for United. So when we get our chance, we take them. We
I mean,
punish teams.
we are worried about the referees. Onana just meant for asleep on the back post. We can't waste no chance.
We can't waste no chance. It's men wastefulness.
Everything we had to worry about.
We paying for our own players wastefulness.
True.
Yeah.
Who we got?
Yeah,
We got Arsenal next this weekend, right?
Yeah, boy.
At Old Trafford, all right, man.
Shout out
Old Trafford.
Oh Jesus!
Arsenal.
shout out to your role, yeah.
Arsenal. Arsenal ain't gonna win a trophy. Last trophy they win was when they beat us. How much they beat us by? They call that trophy. I mean, Arsenal. I worry about that game, man. I ain't gonna lie. They ain't gonna do anything. I don't think they're gonna win no Champions League.
We the type of criminals that would show up for Arsenal. I beat them 1-0 or 2-0. I go and play shit for the rest of the season. That's the type of criminals we support. That's the type of criminals that really.
I wouldn't underestimate this Arsenal team coming real confident. Hopefully, it's work with the more, because to hit PSV 7. Men coming,
Malaysia was in that squad.
Yeah. So I mean, and the thing about it is the turnaround for that game. It's real short.
Yeah.
You understand, and after a certain hour, our players are shut down. Shut down. So it's a scary one. I'm not so worried about the Sociedad game because after Arsenal we have at least 4 days to recover. But the turnaround here, especially traveling back from Spain and having to recover in time for Arsenal, that one I'm a little concerned. Yeah, that one I'm a concern. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 days rest on us.
And then we don't really have much players coming back to say, well, we could rest players. And right now, Hoyland really saying nothing.
Nah, Garnacho might score the winner.
I think he have to gamble on some of them youths on the bench and bring them on in the game because them fellas' legs going in it.
Yeah,
we can't expect too much from them in this Arsenal game, and I think it's just you had a gamble.
Damage limitation.
But you see, my thing is this: yes, you want to gamble with your young players, but these is the kind of players that the likes of Saliba and Gabriel this relish because Gabriel know them dark arts, right? He know to hold. Look, the last time Hoyland played them, the hug up Hoyland and pull him down, and they get nothing because them fellas know how to manipulate referees. You understand? Yeah. And Chido will come because Chido trying to prove. Look, Chido was supposed to fall down against Bassi.
Yeah.
You understand? You feel Gabriel and fellas are watching them thing and saying, right, bring small man. Bring small man.
You break him up.
Chido's eligible to play against Arsenal, right?
Yeah. That's prem.
That man, if that man score, I might get on bad, yeah.
No, it's a possibility he might score.
Yeah.
He gonna be highly motivated, eh? Highly motivated.
Imagine Chido scored a winner on them.
Well, we know who's gonna be bigger in the Garnacho then.
No, after Chido scored a winner, when he go in the dressing room, I'm just take the pin and bust that one time. One time. You know that different this wrongs, boy, because we can't have them big head players and them know the mashing you up, boy. The mashing you up, the destroying we, boy.
They got anybody we can bring on that. Sorry, anybody that was on the bench today. Can we substitute them to start for Hoyland in the Arsenal game this weekend, or I can't do that?
No.
Attacking wise, we options were limited. Attacking wise, the options were limited.
There's only Christian Eriksen and Chido.
Yeah. He's not going to play Xerxes as his striker. I don't think.
Yes, so Hoyland is the only Hoyland and Chido.
Yeah.
Because I think Xerxes giving you numbers in the midfield too, if you realize that he added somebody in that midfield.
Yeah.
So I don't think that going to change anytime soon. But
I'm going to be foolish to change it.
Yeah. That don't make sense to change. I just think it's about if you look at Arsenal self, what they had to do with Ranieri and Lewis Kelly is out of necessity, And I think we are at the point where it's also a necessity where we might have to play our youth because Dalo on the left side again earlier. I
Better try Heaven, yeah? Better try Heaven. Better try Heaven.
Amas. Yeah.
Amas and let him try a thing.
I'll go gamble with if Ugarte come back, play Ugarte and call in the midfield so Bruno could play up on top, right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, well, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I legs in the midfield.
Yeah, that gave me enough legs in the midfield. I mean, in terms of
At least-
control, I don't know how
At
much
least
we were getting.
At least Ugarte composed as well too. So I mean,
Yeah. That could work.
I playing Zirks in the 10 with Casemiro and Collier and do some kind of thing, yeah, but because we need to make sure that we have some mobility in the midfield because Arsenal is real joke that ball earlier. You know. Anyway, so fellas, I think that brings us to the end of the pod. You know, thanks for the comments, thanks for the likes, thanks for the shares. You know, I'm telling you, a lot of people before the kickoff, you know, wasn't expecting the kind of performance from the team and well, I mean, the result kind of higher disappointed. So that should say that the team, you know, kind of exceeded the expectations a little bit now, you know. So we've seen some positives earlier, but we can't bank on this because this team real hot and cool, boy, you know. So you don't know where you'll get from them. You don't know where you'll get. But I mean, we take it as is. We hope the positives help and be able to deal with some of the negatives. So next time we go see Dalo playing the ball first time, you know, we go see
Garnacho hitting frame at least.
Oh, I was dancing in the stands. Anyway, no seeing.
Is that?
Watching the game from the stands, yeah. You know. But wherever we need players, you know. So anyway, so guys, Sunday it is. You know, that's the next game. Arsenal coming to Old Trafford. Let's hope that, you know, we could use our game and get a result and send Arsenal packing again. You know, how nice it would be to see Arsenal fan channels and them on meltdown because they couldn't beat this shitty Man United team. Yeah, 14th place Man United team. You know? So, yeah. So, guys,
there's a Glazers out protest before the game. I think they're supposed to have some social media things that people who can't go to the protest could share on the socials as well.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. So we really need the Glazers to you know, throw the frame too, man, you know?
Yeah.
God, boy. Too much years are mismanagement, and this is where we are.
Mediocrity.
Yeah. You know, so Nico, JP, Phil, Simeon, guys, thanks again. Again, all those in the comments, we do appreciate it. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already on the YouTube side. And we want to build our platform as well. So, guys, we're going to be here again on Sunday to review the Arsenal game on their trip to Old Trafford. And hopefully, it's going to be a nice review. You know, so, guys, thanks again. Have a good night. See you in the next one.
Good night.